Okay. First of all, I didn't know that Manfred was here. I thought that you were sick. But now I see that you're still here, so you're alive at least. That's good. No, I mean, nice to see you. I'm sorry for not saying hello to you. Actually, this intelligent, this was Robert said. Robert said, you are going to talk about intelligence in the warehouse. As I'm a nice guy, I didn't say no to him. But I will tell a little about our travel, because now we're speaking about next level, or what are we going to offer to the customers. And we actually faced this travel where we said that the existing platform we had was not something that could be scalable for success in the future. So we had to do something, and we took that decision in 2010. And I will show you a little what we have done and the reason why we did it. And this is our product that we built. I will also explain to you why we gave it the name Site Optimizer. So hopefully this works. Yes. I mean, first of all, is that we said to ourselves, we weren't sure what we wanted to do, but we had to do something that was different from what we did before. And what we said was that we wanted to build clear products for logistics execution. The word clear for us is also in our logo. The reason for clear is that we want to make sure that whatever we deliver, there has to be quantitative value in it, a clear advantage. We don't want to be installing something where the customer afterwards said, this is shit, I don't save anything, I don't do anything, there's no benefit whatsoever. So it has to be a measurable thing, something that instead of arguing with the customer saying, yes, you have saved, he said, no, I haven't, we have to have a joint platform where he says, yes, I have saved, and it's measurable. So we really are on the same level with that. And that is what is highly important for us. Clear products for logistics execution. And it's slow. What we also said was that we have to focus on the future. The future, for sure, is one part is real-time data availability, process transparency. We have heard that here today. Process transparency, we speak about 3D real-time, or we speak about to see what is going on, to see what happens in the warehouse or on the site of warehouse, whatever. And of course, another important part is then the standardization of software and interfaces. One is then to see what I'm doing, because if you work with real-time data, you can actually instantly change things that go wrong, and also instantly see that things that go well, you can even do better. And therefore you have to have the real-time availability and the process transparency. The second one was standardized software and interfaces. Standardization basically means that in our world, plug and play. So when you install something, afterwards when you install the second site, it can't be another programming project. It has to be basically, you can copy what you're doing, make small amendment, what they call level 5 standardization, and then hit it and get off running. And the third one is actually relevant for Advantech. It's the site network, IT, and hardware standardization. Today, if you get a customer and he wants to install at multiple sites, very often you see that he has different kind of hardware, different kind of setup, and only to break through that is a mess. So normally we say to the customer that the first thing in the standardization process is start to look on your ERP interface that you use the same messages or same iDocs. Because if you're not doing that, then you can't start to standardize from below. Second part is then the hardware, that you have the right hardware that can work in multiple sites, especially then also if you have an outsourced center where you have maybe a private cloud or a service, a software as a service, and so on. This one were for us the most important parts. And what was important was, well, of course, everything has to be in 3D real time, it has to work in the cloud. So SAS and things like that. Totally future minded. It has to be a software that works with all databases. So if a big company suddenly buys another company and suddenly they want us to install, and then we don't support SQL, we only support Oracle. This means that we don't have a platform that is scalable, and so on. So these were definitely our, where we said this is what we want to do. And that was before we gave the product the name Site Optimizer. This actually came later. So, I'm not used to this one. So if you look on the jungle book, our old product was down here. We were absolutely the lowest creature in the food chain. We were always eaten up. We didn't eat anyone ourselves. But that was the problem. The Advantech guidance system is really important to have. The next one on the level was the warehouse management system. Warehouse management system, I will say, he looks like that. And he eats that whole bird down there. And then the customer, of course, on top. That's a nice customer, actually. So this is for us. For us, it was basically impossible to have direct contact with the customer because we were dependent on the guy in the middle. Secondly, primary system is definitely the warehouse management system on the side. So we didn't combine this one. So we said we have to change completely the approach because we can't change this. This is law. This one doesn't work properly. I'm printing and nothing happens here. So it's better that I tell you to change.
Yeah.
Okay. I will look at you. I'm looking at you now. So we said we have to somehow get up and get in contact with this lion up there. Otherwise we will not be able to survive or hit our goals. Go to the next one. Because this guy in the middle, I said, he's the primary system. He's the blocker. Even if we have something really interesting, we couldn't get up there. We had a great product. We could do guaranteed savings to the customer, but we couldn't sell anything. It didn't work. So if you take the next slide. So basically we said, we have to sneak in. We have to somehow get up on this food chain in a very smart way and try to pass the warehouse management system. If you want to pass the warehouse management system, then you have to offer something that is more than a traditional warehouse management system. You have to put in future functionality or even functionality that the customer didn't even know that he needs. So you have to actually sell something that he, after a while, realizes that he wants to have. Next one. And we said to ourselves that the name Site Optimizer is actually very good because if you have a Site Optimizer, you focus on the site. You don't focus on processes within the site. You say, I'll take the whole site and I will optimize this. So that's why we can't call it the Site Optimizer, because we want to optimize sites or networks of sites. And you can take the next one. So what we actually did, we said, what kind of system is really necessary on a site to optimize completely everything? So we said that we have to get into production planning because the earlier we know that something is coming out of production, the better we can plan. It's very easy. If I know that Manfred is coming through that door, I know that 1 minute before he goes through it, I can prepare myself for the talk with him. But if he suddenly shows up in the door like that, and he surprises me, I have less time to plan. That's how it works. So the more time you have to plan, the more you can save. The better process you can do. It's very easy. Material execution is the same there. We said we have to involve material and everything. So when the customer is producing something, we have to help him to have the right material, the right pallets, and the right things available in front of him. Also in the production planning, he can go in and change in our system and change batches and change production and things like that as well. Third important thing is the yard management system. The yard management system is one of the most important system reasons because that's where everything basically starts, especially if you look on external trucks coming to a warehouse, which is, say, goods not coming out of production. Those ones has to be streamlined to come in a sequence where the volumes in the warehouse is on the optimal level. If you have 100 trucks coming suddenly, then it will break apart. You can't optimize because there's too much, but if there's only 2 trucks coming, then there's 2 less. So So there has to be a constant, correct flow coming through. Warehouse management system, of course, inventory. We can go to the next. That one you have to have. Forklift guidance system, that was our old product, that suddenly then had a significant value in this new product that we built. Forklift guidance means that we are telling the resource exactly what to do, where to go, and in the forklift navigation we also tell him how to drive it. And because if we tell him how to drive, we can also measure have been driving, should have been driving. And that also have an influence on the ROI. Transport management system is the same. We said, why don't we take in our system and tell what to load on the truck, and also prepare for the next step, where it says that it might be that he wants to do the delivery milestones back, and then we can also take those ones into our system. Resource management, the reason why I'm not showing the picture there is that that's something that we have built externally, outside everything here, and we spent 14 years to do that. That's algorithms that helps to shoot the right assignment to the right person based on aging, dependencies, rules, laws, and everything. And so that's a really important part for the optimization. Next page, please. Safety, big issue, for two reasons. If a company wants to install a system where they want to save money, they can't go to the union and say, hey, I'm installing a system and then I'm cutting 90 people. Then all hell breaks loose. But if you're saying to them, I'm installing a system to increase the safety, then the union will say, you're very welcome, but the consequence still after the small safety part is that they will get rid of people. So that's a double phase on that one. But safety is big. Safety now, for example, one of our customers, they are killing a couple of people every year, and this is in the US, so they are paying maybe $3, $4, $5 million only for that. So of course, the less people they kill, the better it is. And there's anti-collision system, zoning system, speed control system, all these things as well included. Real-time analytics is really important because that's the reports that comes out based on the 3D real-time environment that we're building. So basically today it's like it works like this: the shift ends, and then when the shift ends, you go through and you go through what has happened. And everything normally is a discussion based on no documentation, and the day afterwards, then the Excel people in the warehouse, they're looking on the reports and say, why is this shift 20% worse than the other ones? Why aren't they all on the same level? What happens to them? If you have a real-time analytics, this means that 5 seconds after the shift is over, you print out the reports and you hit the problems instantly when they have happened. And then you say, why did you do that? Why did this happen? And then you build your football team based on that. Big, big difference. Because instead of having second-day discussions on problems that you try to find out why they happen, you have the answers in your hand and you hit and find the solution immediately. And then also the real-time visualization in the system. In our system, you can actually scroll around. It's like a computer game for grown-ups, where you can see the warehouse and the movement of the forklift and everything in real time. Next page. Global template. That is something that we developed together with the customer. Because the customer, I want to have one set of software for all my sites. I don't want to have different version management for different sites. I want to have one software that has multiple products. We have 3 products, G40, G60, G-Flex. And he said, I want to have one software with different complexity, light, middle, and heavy, in one software instead of having multiple. And this, of course, makes sure for him that when we pre-configure all the functionalities in this global template, give you an example. We have today something like 900 parameters, or close to 1,000. This means that in our system you activate, enable or disable what you need. So if a customer starts to work, then he enables whatever he needs. When he goes to the second site to install, then there's, for example, things that he doesn't use on the first side, but there's things that he used that he doesn't have that is new on the second side. So instead of going and programming those new functionalities like you do in the traditional warehouse management system, in our system you have basically say 20 feet containers, yes, loaded with forklift of this type, yes, yes, yes. So print export document, yes, activate, and then we're running. So that's the kind of standardization we have built in. It has taken a hell of a lot of time to build that, but it's beneficial. Next one. Then we have the hardware. hardware for us is really important because we put sensor technology in the warehouse to build a real-time world GPS. And we also put in the forklift the GPS in the outdoors. We call it GPS indoor and GPS outdoor. So you see your resources all the time when they drive around, you see your inventory, the system is controlled and tell the guy exactly what to do, where to go, when to do it, and how to do it. So the operators do not take any decisions themselves. They don't get any list of tasks to choose from. They're exactly told what to do all the time. Next one. And of course, the execution of that we are doing with DL. So we use mostly the DL TV model. That's our favorite. And then for the less complex side, we sometimes use the MTC6 model as well. So this is actually from our webpage, the new one. We haven't launched yet. There you can also clearly see that we recommend these ones. And Visual Legal has done an excellent job there in Scientology way to commit me to his product somehow. And he's doing that well. We'll take the next page. So for us, very, very important words is standardization, automation, optimization. Basically, if you automatize, you can standardize. And then if you automatize, you can also optimize. Next picture, please. This is pictures from the forklift screen that the terminal we're using for Dilo. And here you can see this is the options that the forklift driver is getting. He can say yes or he can say no. And whatever button he prints on there, the next thing that happens is that he's always getting an assignment. For example, if he can't reach his goal or his destination, he can print destination not reachable, and the system immediately tells him to bring the pallet to another place. So no manual decisions whatsoever in the warehouse. Next one. This is the screen of the control center. And as you can see here, I hope it's not too small, that he has everything in one system. He has materials, productions, transport management, visualization, and things like that. This is actually container loading. Here you can see that's the 40 feet containers, that's the 20 feet containers, and that's the transport layer there. And that's one of the visualizations you have in our system. So everything is in real time. It's just like looking on a television, basically. Next one. And once again, it's all done through a D-Log terminal. So D-Log for us is a really important part because we don't have any problems today with any customers. It's working perfectly. And Vishal is doing a really good job for us as well. So we have a partnership there that's really beneficial for both sides. I want to say thank you for that as well. Okay. Take the next one. You can actually click 2 more times, so then we'll speed up a little. So, the sales process we have is that, and this is also what our partners are doing for us. There's a site analysis. The site analysis means that we're looking on all the processes that they have today, and then we do a simulation to see the as-is processes, what happens if we bring them into our system and we make it a 2B. Then we have the comparison with what they have today, measurable, and what we can do for them in the future, also measurable. And if that comes out to be interesting, this is normally done with a questionnaire. They tell us to do an on-site visit, and when we do an on-site visit, we will tell them exactly what they will say. That's an ROI. And for that one, we also guarantee. Next page, because I have only a minute left. And this is actually an ROI. I'm giving you this is a customer example. And this is what we call the hard facts. Hard fact is basically the first savings that you have to realize. So you can't do any savings where you say soft facts and say, hey guy, install our system, then in 3 years you will save this kind of money. There has to be an instant positive effect of what you're doing. So in this case, you can see there is an as-is. In this case, they look on forklifts and they look on energy and resources. And the as-is is 190 resources, 28 forklifts. We told them you can go down to 159 and 20. Savings come up to about $1 million a year. And what is also interesting is that, remember this picture where we showed how you're driving with the forklift. This means that we can also measure the energy. So we can tell these guys that, hey, you will save 29% in fuel energy, electricity, whatever, and the CO2 reduction. So not only that you save money for the customer, you also bring some environmental positive effect, which is good. And then the next one. This is still interesting, the soft facts. Because we asked the customer, what do you expect to save? And they told us, like, because I have this real-time environment, this means that I can take away people in the shift lead, I can take away the Excel people in the office doing the reports, because that I can centralize and they can sit in the headquarters somewhere. So in addition to the one we save, they save another 1.5 million, which is substantial. So, but this is for example things that we cannot put into our ROI, because the CEOs and the CEOs and the CFOs, they want to see instant money, and what they save internally themselves, I mean, this is our say benefit, but still, they couldn't do that without the system. Next one. That's basically it. So we really like guaranteed efficiency, guaranteed transparency, guaranteed cost savings, and guaranteed decrease of emissions. And it has to be measured. You have to prove it, and you have to deliver it. So, thank you very much.